In the summer of 1944, Adolf Hitler was bracing for an Allied invasion of Western Europe. He knew it was coming. He just didn't know where. That one gap in his knowledge? It would cost the Nazis the war. What he didn't expect was an army that didn't exist. Inflatable tanks, wooden planes, fake radio chatter, and a Spanish chicken farmer turned super spy. This wasn't a battle fought with bullets, but with lies. This was Operation Fortitude. By 1944, the Allies were planning something big, really big. The largest seaborne invasion in history, Operation Overlord. But the key to its success wasn't just storming the beaches of Normandy. It was making sure Hitler believed they wouldn't. Enter Operation Bodyguard, a vast cloak of deception, and at its core, Operation Fortitude. Fortitude had one goal: get the Germans to look the wrong way. Make them think the invasion would hit Norway, Fortitude North, or Pas-de-Calais, Fortitude South, not Normandy. And here's the kicker: it worked, better than anyone dared hope. Let's start up north. Fortitude North aimed to convince the Germans that the British were gearing up to invade Norway. Scotland became the stage for a spectacular show. The Allies deployed the British Fourth Army, by which we mean they stacked up fake tanks, carved out dummy airfields, and ran silent drills in phony camps. They even launched commando raids on Norway just to sprinkle some truth into the lie. And it paid off. The Germans kept over 400,000 troops in Scandinavia, sitting out D-Day entirely. But the masterpiece? Fortitude South. The Allies wanted Hitler to think the real invasion was coming at Pas-de-Calais, the narrowest point in the English Channel, and the most heavily defended part of the Atlantic Wall. It was logical, too logical, so they made it irresistible. They created an entirely fictional army, the First U.S. Army Group, or FUSAG. And who did they put in charge? None other than General George S. Patton, the most feared Allied commander in German eyes. And Patton played along beautifully, giving speeches, inspecting troops, and generally being visible in Kent and Sussex. Behind him, a circus of fakes: inflatable tanks, wooden landing craft, mock airstrips. From the sky, it looked like an invasion force ready to roll. And if you're wondering about radio transmissions, yep, they were fake too. A web of wireless operators simulated constant traffic between the ghost divisions, building an electronic footprint to match the visual one. Still, all of that could have unraveled without the greatest double agent in history, Juan Pujol Garcia, known to the Germans as Garbo. Garbo convinced the Nazis he ran a spy network of 27 operatives across Britain. In reality, they didn't exist. He was making it all up, sometimes using guidebooks to report troop movements. But the Germans ate it up. Even better, Garbo's fake agents confirmed everything Fortitude was trying to sell, that Calais, not Normandy, was the real target. His lies were so convincing that when the Allies landed in Normandy, the Germans still thought it was a diversion. They waited and waited for a second real invasion that never came. He was a failed businessman, a Spaniard with no military training. And yet Juan Pujol Garcia, codename Garbo, became the most successful double agent of the war. Garbo fed German intelligence with reports so detailed, so consistent, that Berlin awarded him the Iron Cross, unaware he was on Churchill's payroll. Now here's where it gets even juicier. Thanks to Ultra, the top-secret British program breaking German Enigma codes, the Allies were reading Nazi communications in near real time. And what did they find? Confirmation. Hitler had bought it. Hook, line, and rubber tank. For weeks after D-Day, German divisions stayed in Pas-de-Calais, waiting for Patton to show up. But Patton never did, because he was never coming, because there was never an army to begin with. Operation Fortitude was a masterclass in deception, a fusion of espionage, theater, and sheer nerve. It stretched the limits of imagination and by doing so, saved lives. Because every German soldier who didn't fire on Normandy gave the Allies a little more room to breathe. And remember, all this was accomplished not by force, but by fiction. Fortitude wasn't alone. It was the crown jewel of a broader campaign, Operation Bodyguard. Across Europe, the Allies sowed chaos and confusion. Dummy invasions in Greece, whispers of attacks on southern France, feints in the Balkans. The Germans, overstretched and paranoid, didn't know where to turn. By the time they understood, it was already over. Operation Fortitude didn't just win battles, it reshaped military thinking. It proved that wars aren't won by guns alone. That deception, when masterfully executed, is a weapon as sharp as any sword. It showcased the power of collaboration, of artists, actors, spies, generals, and mathematicians, all playing their part. And it stands today as one of the greatest tricks ever pulled in the history of warfare. A phantom army, a symphony of lies, and the day the Allies fooled Hitler himself.